Hello, friends. Slightly different type of video today. Don't have a script. It's not about any sports psychology or sports cultural kind of things. I mean, it kind of is, but not directly in the same normal way. So I've got a bit of an announcement. It's a good thing, not a bad thing. So just go ahead and erase any anxieties that might come from me saying that. And before I get to that, I want to give you all a little bit of context as to why this is happening. So some people might know this, but before I started doing video essays on YouTube about sports psychology and culture, most of my writing experience was in fiction. And lately, I have been feeling a pretty strong pull to go back to that in some capacity. And with all the questions going around in the world right now about ownership, specifically in football, specifically in European football, specifically about foreign American investment in football, I have sort of had this idea kicking around in my head for a long time and haven't really been sure what the best way to execute that idea is. Because in the past, I've written books and written blog posts and things like that and thought, okay, wait, maybe go back to doing that. But then I kind of thought about it and realized that I have this lovely audience here that I very much enjoy sharing things with and care about very deeply, that I could probably also introduce to this same idea and could probably also execute a version of this idea that I had on YouTube. And so if you combine that with a couple of other things, so I read a book called Who Owns Football by Nick Miller, which is fantastic, and I'll put a link in the description to it because it's really great. And I read through that book and realized that the story that I've sort of had in my head for a while was actually really relevant to a lot of the questions that that book tries to address, which is specifically around what makes a football owner good. And that's also a big part of the story that I was trying to tell. So sort of using a lot of the ideas that that book talks about and expanding on sort of the story that I had already created and sort of fused with my own, knowledge base of how football works and all the various machinations of clubs and how they make decisions, I came up with The Top Flight, which is what I'm here to tell you guys about. So The Top Flight is a fictional scripted series that's kind of reminiscent of a show like Ted Lasso. It's not quite as deliberately funny as Ted Lasso. I would say tonally it's more similar to Welcome to Wrexham or Sunderland Until I Die, even though, again, it's not exactly the same thing because this is fictional. And while it does include real elements, so there are storylines in the show about things that actually do happen in real life. Things like players actually wanting to transfer to a different club, or sort of little individual dramas that actually played themselves out over the course of this past season in the Premier League. Like, those things actually get incorporated into the storyline. But again, it's not sort of my traditional student of the game, cover something that actually happened, go into the weeds on sort of all of the various mental and sociological motivations for it. Those ideas are still there, it's just in a fictional format. And it's also important for me to point out, I think, that we use AI for some of this. So I, at this point, cannot afford to hire voice actors. I would love it if that became a thing in the future, but had to use various AI softwares to create the voices of some of the characters in here, because there are characters that have lines and have roles in the story that are independent of me sort of guiding you through the whole thing. But again, I can't hire actual humans at this point, so I did have to train various AI voicing softwares on different line deliveries, which was actually pretty cool, and it actually came out a lot better than I thought it was going to initially when I had that idea. But I feel like that's good to disclose. The other thing is that one of the ways that we've realized this is through FIFA. So this is not a FIFA playthrough. There are a lot of really great FIFA playthrough and Football Manager playthrough channels out there, which I have enjoyed liberally over the years. So nothing wrong with those guys, but this is not exactly that. We're sort of blending creative ideas, fictional ideas with real stuff that actually happens. One of the ways that I sort of bring this story to life and give you something to look at visually and sort of help tell the story is actually playing this season and what ends up being multiple seasons out on FIFA, being able to capture that and put it into the actual show. So just so that's not a surprise, there is also FIFA footage in there. So all that to say that this is a created blending of factual information, things that actually do happen in real life, and a fictional story that I have created with made-up characters and fusing those things together. Some of the feedback I've gotten initially on drafts of episodes that I have said to people is that it was a little confusing in terms of where the real stuff stopped and fake stuff started. So I'll put out a video, I think, right before this first episode airs, which is next week, about sort of where that line is and sort of how to go into it, how to approach it. But yeah, the trailer is out for The Top Flight right now. It's in the video description below here. If you wouldn't mind, go and check that out. It's like 90 seconds long. If it piques your interest, definitely subscribe to it. Now, what this means for Student of the Game isn't going anywhere. So just to be clear, this is not like a complete career pivot away from doing video essays on sports psychology and culture. That is absolutely still going to happen, but it's not going to happen this month. There will be no video on the formal Student of the Game channel this month, but there will be 4, count them, 4 Top Flight episodes over on the other channel, which I'll also have a link to in the description. All I had to say, you will still have plenty of content coming from me over the next few weeks. It will just not be Student of the Game specific. I do have a couple of episodes in, sort of the docket that are going to be coming out relatively soon, but Top Flight is sort of dominated my attention for the last couple of weeks and months, and hopefully when it comes out and y'all go and watch it, you will see the fruits of that labor, and hopefully you really enjoy it, because I think you will, because that's why I made it. But yeah, this is a big project that I've been working on for quite a while, and I'm really excited about sharing it with you guys. So do me a favor, go over to the new channel, subscribe, turn on notifications, like the new video, share it with your friends, all that fun stuff. Come on, Fulham.